What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. I'm back doing another preview video for round 3 of the Rugby World Cup. This one is for England versus Chile, and hopefully an exciting game, because so far both of England's games that we've caught so far haven't been the most exciting games to watch in the world. We had that first one going up against Argentina. Argentina were just terrible generally in that game, and England went a man down, of course, with Tom Curry's red card, so we just got to watch George Ford do a lot of kicking. Last week England went up against Japan. It came on just after the Fiji-Australia game, which was a super exciting edge of your seat sort of game. The England-Japan one yet again was a bit stale, a bit stop-start, lots of handling errors, a lot of penalties going on, really sort of slowly getting along. It took England a long time to get into that game and start doing some things that were a bit more exciting, get some cross-field kicks and getting over that try line, trying to get some points on the board. But England did come away with a win over Japan. Japan really not being able to get over that try line, not really even looking like they were getting close to getting over the try line, to be fair. But the England team go on to play Chile this week, a team who are very exciting, enjoy an open game, enjoy having the ball in hand. So hopefully this England team is about to bring a very exciting game into Pool D. In terms of the team then, a lot of shifting up from the team that went in against Japan. They're obviously thinking Chile is probably one of the teams in this pool that they actually feel like they can put on, I want to say, a bit more of a B team. It's absolutely not necessarily like a B team England. There's a lot of big names still in this team, but there'll be a lot of players missing out that I can imagine if you're involved with the fantasy team especially, you might be getting a little bit annoyed. I know I personally have got Ellis Genge in the fantasy team. He's not playing in this one. A lot of people who have Maro Toje's not playing. A lot of people have got Freddie Stewart in the fullback position not playing in this one as well. So a lot of people might get annoyed at this England team in terms of the fantasy. Not that they care about the fantasy, of course. They're there to win a game of rugby. So starting out in this front row, Bevan Rodd, Theo Dan and Kyle Sinclair coming in that tight end position now. So a bit of an all-new front row for this England team. Not the same front row we've been sort of seeing across those World Cup warm-up stuff. Theo Dan is someone that I think needs game time and needs minutes on the pitch. Really hasn't been, used enough, I don't think, in this England team. I still feel like I don't know a lot about the guy. He's on about 7 caps now, and I just feel like we've seen about 20 minutes of total playtime from him. They really seem to bring him on right at the end of the game, or just not at all. I'm looking forward to seeing him have, hopefully, a long chunk of time. I want to see him play 60, 65 minutes of this game, get on the field, get a bit of confidence, get some minutes under your belt, and going up against Chile might be a team that this front row feels like they can get the better of. Chile against Samoa last week gave away quite a few infringements in terms of the breakdown, but in the set piece it's mainly to do with the scrum. The scrum seems to be a bit of a weak link for the Chilean team, so these guys might think they have a bit of an advantage when they get involved in that scrum department. In the lock department then, Dave Ribbans goes in alongside of George Martin, so no Atoje going in this week, having a bit of a rest day for this one before they've got some big games coming up to finish off their pool stages. In the back row, some changes here as well. Lewis Ludlam moving into the 6th shirt, Jack Willis at open side, and Billy Vunipola coming in at 8. So they've lost Maro Toje and they've lost Courtney Laws from this team as well. So in terms of their line-out jumpers as well, they've dropped down a little bit. I'm sure they'll still get involved in that line-out department. They'll feel kind of confident in that area. But they've lost some big names along the way. Courtney Laws has been playing well. Ben Earl has been playing probably exceptionally well. He's probably one of the standouts in this England team at the minute. So not having him on as well. Jack Willis got some big boots to fill. Lewis Ludlam, I do like playing at 6. They've tried him out playing at 8, with Billy Vunipola slowly sort of phasing back into this team. I like Lewis Ludlam at 6. I prefer him starting at 6. And I'm sure Billy Vunipola will be looking forward to having a start once again in this team after his ban. And coming on from the bench last week versus Japan, I'm sure he'll want to get involved in this game. In the halfback partnership, Danny Kerr goes in alongside of Owen Farrell, making his return, of course, after his red card. Feels like we're going to keep saying this about this England team. His ban's now up. He's come back in for this one, playing the number 10. George Ford has been playing very well at 10. It's not the most exciting rugby in the world, but you just want to get in and win games. It's the World Cup. That's all you need to do. And he's been leading from the front, penalties, drop goals and stuff. And I think maybe for me, be looking at being the first choice at number 10 at the minute. Marcus Smith also being relegated out of this 10 shirt today. He's been moved to the fullback position. We'll get onto that in a second, but Owen Farrell, we'll see how he gets on in that 10 shirt, because of course Eddie Jones liked playing that 10-12, whereas Borthwick's more looking at having two dedicated centres and having Owen Farrell play at 10, which I think, to be fair, I think Owen Farrell plays quite well at 10 compared to in centre. In the centre partnership then, as we're talking about it, Ollie Lawrence goes on and inside centre, Elliot Daly at outside centre, playing wing both games so far in the World Cup, and doesn't feel like he's made the most inroads on that left wing. They've been sort of partnering him up with Johnny May. Elliot Daly moving back to centre, where, to be honest, he was more impressive for me. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in that outside centre. Joe Marchant on the bench for this one. I thought maybe Ollie Lawrence and Joe Marchant would get a run out together, have Elliot Daly on the bench and bring him on at wing, as centre or fullback, wherever you need him to. That's not what they've gone for. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the fly halves comes off later and Elliot Daly actually moves back into that fullback position, but we'll see how that changes up for them. And then finally, in that back three, Max Malin's on the left wing, Henry Arundel on the right wing, and Marcus Smith in the fullback shirt. Now, I'm not aware of Marcus Smith's ability to play fullback. I don't think we've seen him play fullback at all in the England jersey. I don't know if he has at club level. Someone drop that down in the comments. Someone's more aware of his club level background about him playing fullback. I don't really know why they're doing this necessarily. I can't imagine an enormous amount of kicks are probably going to come over to Marcus Smith. Chile enjoy having the ball in their hands. They enjoy a bit of expansive rugby. They're trying to run it from basically anywhere. Occasionally where the attack does stop and they feel like they've run out of options, they will do a box kick. They're not box kicking deep, though. They are box kicking quite shallow, so someone has the chance to get the ball back. And Marcus Smith's such an attacking 10. I feel like he would actually maybe enjoy getting involved here and put him in that 10 shirt. Maybe I would have liked to have seen Marcus Smith play 10 and had Elliot Daly in that fullback position if you wanted to mix it up and give Freddie Stewart a week off and stuff. But Owen Farrell not had the minutes, of course, with his ban, so you want to get Owen Farrell against a team that, you feel more comfortable winning against. I really feel like England go into this one as heavy favourites, so maybe that's the decision there. In terms of the substitutions then, Jack Walker, Joe Marler and Will Stewart will be your replacement front row. That's a pretty solid front row to come on, to be fair. So in that second half, Chile giving away a few penalties at the scrum as well when they're getting a little bit tired, can double down. I feel like these boys will probably just really punish them in that second half in terms of the scrummaging. Replacement forwards alongside them, Ollie Chesham and Ben Earl. Again, feels like a punishing second half. Ben Earl come on. More tired players, more jackal penalties for Ben Earl in that second half. And then the replacement backs, Ben Youngs, George Ford and Joe Marchant. It feels like quite a professional bench, to be fair, from this England team. I feel like that England team's going to come on just to shut out the game. Chile have actually been playing pretty well in both the Japan and the Samoa game, where they had that opening first half and they kept the game really tight all the way up past the half-time marker and maybe a little bit beyond. I wouldn't be surprised if England don't run away with this game in that first half and Chile keep it really close. But that bench for me from England looks like a bench that's just there to score points. I feel like that front row is going to get penalties at the scrum. They're going to choose the scrum every time and then kick it upfield. I feel like Ben Earl's going to get jackal penalties. George Ford's just going to come on and just score the points if they're within the certain range. You've also got Elliot Daly there for long range kicking if you want him to. I feel like that's a point scoring team. I feel like this game might get better for England as it progresses on. Moving on then to talk a little bit about the Chile team. They've had a few switches up from that game versus Samoa. Now the game against Samoa was the only one that I actually haven't been able to watch. I've caught a bit more of it. I caught the last 20 minutes of it when it was on. I've gone back and I've rewatched the first half of that game to make sure I keep up to date with my Chilean rugby knowledge because they've done a few shifting up across the team, to be fair. A bit of a new front row. Ditas is the only guy retaining in that tight head prop position. Clement Saavedra is moving from the open side back into lock this week. So you don't really see a lot of open side lock players, right? They tend to be lock blindside flankers where you get to see if they have a bit more utility about them. So looking forward to seeing him. He had some big carries, to be fair, in that Samoa game. He was charging at the line. So we're looking forward to seeing him in that lock position as well to get some big carries in. Sigren, the captain, will be retaining his blindside flanker. Silva comes in at open side flanker, and Alfonso Escobar comes in for the number 8 shirt, where Martinez was playing, who's been moved to the bench for this one. Thought he had a pretty good game from what I've seen as well in that Samoa game as well in the number 8 shirt. A bit of a change at halfback then. Fernandez holds in the number 10 10 position, who was looking to do some cheeky little counter runs and causing a bit of a nuisance for the Samoa defence in that first half. Anyway, Torrio Bella not playing in this one. Videla is going to be coming in the scrum half, and I mean, he's got some big boots to fill. The scrum half for Chile has been doing some very exceptional work in terms of the attack. The centre partnership remaining the same as last week. Garafulic retains, and the inside centre Domingo Saavedra going in the outside centre. Garafulic is an interesting player. Takes over the kicking duties as well. Got 2 kicks from 2 in the Samoa opening half, and that was unfortunately the only points they were going to be scoring in that game. They didn't get anything in the second half. One thing about Garafulic, though, gets quite a few penalties against him for being offside. Extremely eager to get off the line in defence. But the problem is he's got a bright yellow scrum cap. You notice him immediately as soon as he runs offside. So he just needs to hold back a little bit. I'm sure he gave away 2 or 3 penalties for offside in just that first half versus Samoa. Just step back, or don't wear a yellow scrum cap so the referees can spot you a mile off. And then finally, an all-new back 3 from last week. Velada, Game, and Uros will be coming in. So Ayaja, who's been one of the standouts for the Chilean in the fullback position, moved to the bench for this one. Ayaja, one of the absolute standouts for this Chile team in the fullback position, been very, very impressive by him. In terms of the bench, then a couple of new names for me there, but a couple of those names that you want to see coming on who were playing last week. Martinez, like I said, in the replacement forwards, you want to be seeing him come on, and Ayaja, yeah, absolutely one of the standouts for this Chile team. Unfortunately, I can't dive too much more into the Chile team. I just don't know enough about them. I am trying to learn a little bit over the course of this World Cup. In terms of the score prediction, then for this one, I'm still leaning towards England, even though it feels like England have put a bit more of a B team on. The areas where Chile are maybe faltering a little bit seem to be the areas that England do quite well in. The scrummaging is not necessarily the best. I think the front rows coming on for the scrummaging for England will be looking forward to trying to win some penalties in that area. The high ball's another one. England have been doing a lot of kicking over the last 2 games, and the Chile team not necessarily the best under high ball, even chasing their own high ball. They're getting the kicks in and running after the chases, but letting the ball bounce or just trying to slap the ball in the air as opposed to actually competing in the air. I feel like England will have some better aerial jumpers. So unfortunately, in terms of watching a game of rugby, expect a lot more kicking because it's working for England at the minute. And I think against Chile, it will work just as well yet again. So I'm going to say an England win for this one. Samoa beat Chile by 33. In the end, and I can see England also wanting to push that out there as well. I'm going to say England to win this one by, I'm going to go with 35. I'm not sure if that might actually be a little bit low. I feel like in that second half, they might really begin to put some points on the board, but that's going to be my score prediction, guys. Make sure you drop yours down in the comment section. I'm going to go off now and get myself ready for France versus Namibia. Another game getting kicked off now in round 3. Of course, there'll be more preview videos coming out tomorrow as well. We've got some big games. We've got Scotland, Tonga, we've got Wales, Australia, another massive game as well. So make sure you are subscribed to keep up to date with all the latest videos as they come out. I'll see you all next time, guys. Bye-bye.